So on August the 8th, Connie and I left Weir, Kansas, and we headed for California. Of course, the first stop was Independence, Missouri, direct route. But this is the Puppet Arts Institute. I went here because Wade told me that this was where Bill Solliner's collection of puppets was stored. And they took the puppets, and this is the place here, the Puppetry Arts Institute. It's in Independence, but it's in the historic Inglewood district. And this is sort of, they're trying to turn this into an arts district up there. And this is Bill Solliner. I did this all because I knew Bill, I met him, and knew very little about him. We talked about gardening mostly, and he showed me his puppets once, but I really didn't know all the stuff Bill was involved in. And I got involved with this Talking Heads group, and they mentioned Bill one day, and I thought, wasn't that great? They know Bill, and they started telling me about Bill, and I found out a whole lot about him I didn't know before. But this is a puppet he made of himself, so a little self-portrait, and he puts on puppet shows, and these are some of his puppets.
Is this in Independence, Kansas?
It's in Independence, Missouri.
Missouri, okay.
And it's in the Inglewood district.
The one on the right, is that Miss Piggy later in life?
I'm not sure who a lot of these people are. This was, wasn't this a French comedic actor or a cartoon character? But Bill made all of these.
Many of his puppets were real people like these.
This is Ted, and that's Ron Reagan. I think that's Ron Reagan.
Could be.
Yeah, a lot of these, a little bit of guesswork at some of these. And he put together stages, he put together all kinds of different puppet shows.
He make all the puppets.
He made them all. He made them all.
That one really looks like Bill himself there, doesn't it?
It hardly even looks like a puppet.
Yeah, that's his best word. Oh, that's nice.
He played the violin, he played the accordion, I don't know what else he played.
There's your bill.
This is the picture you sent me, Don. Was
Yeah.
that good?
That was at Lou's wedding reception 2 weeks before Bill died.
Yeah, he looks terrible.
And you can see he was on oxygen while he was pushing that big thing.
This is a mural in Inglewood here, that district in Inglewood, that's part of the arts district thing. It's this mural here.
Bill, do you know if those represent some actual persons or those representatives of groups, or have any idea?
This is just some artist depicts, you know, it's like Bob Dylan says, it means what you think it means. It's right now. This is, now what's coming up next is the stuff that's at Axe Library. As I throw this in now, since we're talking about Bill now, this is the 2 boxes that are at Axe Library of Bill's collections that are held there. And this is all stuff that came out of there. They have a copy of this book, and I have a copy of it here today. This Mahoon Scrolls. It's just hilarious, the creativity of him, and each, you can read any one page in there and see what he's doing. It's really very, very funny.
Manahuni.
The Manahuni. And this is all people. There's 3 different movies in there on film. There's this here, there's a whole bunch of these off-center magazines, and he published this magazine in Kauai in the late 80s, early 90s, and this was one about Big Brutus, which I'd never seen, so that's why I took this one, chose this one. This is a game he invented about Kauai. And he made a board, and he had a bunch of rules and how to play the game. And he created this from old cloth. You know? And this is all the different cards that you can get. When you get a card off the pile, these are the different cards you get. And they're like different bureaucratic snafus that occur to people, is what it is. It's a bunch of different dealing with government agencies and what happens to you when you deal with government agencies.
Go to jail, go directly to jail, do not
That's
ask
right.
go. These are even worse.
Is it
Take
based
your
on monopoly that you go
Well, I
down
would
and
imagine
walk to
it
different
is.
positions?
Take your environmental impact statement. And include their concerns for wayward girls.
Oh,
Yeah. Put all utilities underground. Complaints about crazy neighborhoods.
Wild card, clean out the general fund and take a vacation. Take another card, you still don't have a full deck.
This is us at the Toot Toot. This is one of the few remaining true buffets. We left Independence and headed towards Des Moines. And we stopped at Toot Toot, and I thought I'd give them a little advertising. If you're on that, if you're up north of Kansas City into, I think it was it before Iowa? And there's a sign on the highway for it. We went over there, and it's a great buffet, huge, and good food.
Yeah.
It says located.
There's a Cajun song, and don't mess with my toot. Don't mess with
the Zydeco band at the
Yeah.
Miners Hall did that song,
Yeah.
Toot Toot. This is on the Jefferson Highway, north of Indianola, Iowa. And what we did, we got off the interstate in Iowa and went over to Highway 65 and stayed at a little place called the Blue Heaven. It was a house that a guy rented rooms out of and then created a little motor court with rooms. And we stayed at the Blue Heaven, and then we headed up 65, which is the Jefferson Highway. And unlike here, the Jefferson Highway, every few miles has a sign that says Jefferson Highway. You know, you're on the Jefferson Highway, and it's right up through there.
You see
And
that? I'm sorry.
this is, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it looks like that WNEY tire is whiny for drunk drivers, isn't it?
Anyway, this was restored by the county history committee there did that. Then we went to the state capitol in Des Moines because I like it.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I love it. And it's, of all the state capitals I've been to, this is really the most entertaining. They have,
Where do you see that?
and it is real gold. It's 23 karat leaf they put on.
Yeah, gold leaf is very, very thin, but it's real gold.
Well, last that long, I mean.
And it was all rejuvenated. This is the
You
back
put it onto
side.
metal down below and it kind of anneals to the metal, so it stays pretty well.
Colorado's capital has a gold dome as well.
And there's a view of Des Moines from the capitol.
And they don't like the government to say gold helmet.
Oh.
This is one of the features of the capitol that this is the law library in the state capitol at Des Moines.
Wow.
And this is two different pictures. These are it's 5 stories. And the first floor and then 4 stories up and these balconies. And you don't go up there. The librarians go up there and retrieve books for you. But it's
Rather dizzying.
That's
Yeah.
spiral stairs.
a beautiful, beautiful room.
Did you say when it was built? You said what?
You know, and that's interesting. I did look it up, and it was 1840s they started on it. And it took them forever to build it. There were like 3 or 4 different contractors. There were snafus and funding problems from start to finish. It was a fiasco, but it's a beautiful, beautiful. And not only this, the building itself is wonderful. This is a rotunda. I always take a picture of this. Sometimes they come out better than others. But I always do the rotunda, you know.
Wow.
That's in case I'm laying in state someday, I'll know what I'll be looking at.
We're starting on it now.
They always say they're laying in state at the rotunda. So there's some statues up there, and these are not great pictures, but these are amazing, amazing statues at the Des Moines Capitol. This is dedicated to the prairie women of the Western expansion. This one you can't really see on the left, but she's holding up her bosom. She represents Mother Nature offering up her bounty. Other than that, for some reason I know that one, but I don't know most of the representation that these indicate. But these were from different wars, and there was a lot of stuff on the War of the Rebellion, which would be the Civil War. They called it the War of the Rebellion at the time. This is Lincoln and Todd, and I was saying the other day, and it's true, you can put a statue of Lincoln anywhere, and it's appropriate. You know, anywhere in the country, you're liable to run into a statue of Lincoln, and it belongs there. So here we are at the Des Moines Capitol. What connection Lincoln had to Des Moines, I don't know, but they felt inclined to put his statue here with his son Todd.
I've never seen one of he and his son before.
And this is right out in the front of the Capitol. This is the USS Iowa. Very hard to get a picture of, but they've got this thing is about 20 foot long. Beautiful.
And in Los Angeles, isn't it, or San Diego?
Is it still around?
I think so.
Oh, really? I know there's some more on the BB-61, the big stick they call it. This is the House Chambers.
Abraham Lincoln was born in Texas.
What was that?
Abraham Lincoln.
I think he's talking to his wife.
Okay, this guy here is Robert McIntire, PhD in Walnut, Iowa. We went west out of Des Moines. We came to signs that said Walnut, Iowa, flea markets or, you know, antiques and everything. We went down there, and this guy was there. And there's several really nice flea markets in Walnut, Iowa, and big and way overpriced. We bought nothing, but you know, they get these ideas about what stuff. I don't know why they wanted us there, because we certainly weren't going to buy any of that stuff. But this guy is like 95 years old. He runs this store. He calls this Petroleana. He does all signs for gas stations and anything to do with oil, motor oil companies, or cars, or gas stations. And I have a 6-minute video that I can play for you after, if we, I don't know, maybe we can't, maybe we can't. But of this store and of all the different signs and stuff he has.
It's like he also has an affinity for those old oscillating fans too. I've had a couple there.
His PhD is in psychology, so we talked about psychology. And I got a free session.
What's your
better.
What's your diagnosis, Dave?
Oh, that's personal.
Yeah, kind of. Anyway, there's him. If anybody want, I would suggest go by and see him. Call him if you want any Petroleana. So this is the Arch. This is in Nebraska. This stretches across Interstate 80. It's a place you could go, and you go in this end over here, and on the north side of 80, and you walk, and you go in, and there's a gift shop, and there's guys there and everything, and this guy's there telling you, he's portraying an old pioneer guy, and then you walk up, I didn't take much of that. I tell you, I was really uniquely unimpressed with the Arch, just because it was built and is maintained, and the whole thing was done simply to make money as a tourist attraction. There was really not much what they told you about the Lincoln Highway, you could have seen in a brochure this big, and that was it. I just told you about the Lincoln Highway from the very beginning, when the Indians were there and when the first explorers came across that way, and on up through the Mormons with their push carts and different, covered wagons coming through, and then finally on to Eisenhower and the interstate system. So it was somewhat interesting. Not really. It only cost us $23 or $24 for the tour. We got a couple bucks off at the hotel, gave us a coupon. And
There's an arch over I-44, which is an actual arch that makes an arch. And for a time, it was painted golden, and up above there was the largest McDonald's in the world.
And, and I always thought the busiest McDonald's in the world was the one right by the St. Louis Arch.
Well, I don't know
The
how
one down
busy,
there.
but it was the biggest, the largest
Yeah.
square footage.
This is Ole's. Has anybody been to Ole's in Paxton, Nebraska? I've been there like 4 times. And this is a bar and restaurant grill that has all kinds of taxidermy. This guy hunted everything. And he had it in Africa, he had it here, he had all kinds of deer and elk and caribou and all kinds of birds, got birds and everything. And the whole place is about taxidermy. And this is Ole's Big Game Steakhouse. And I've got a video of this. It's about 5 minutes long, and it just shows in this long. We were headed across 80 in Wyoming. This was a drag line that was operating. I have a 3-minute video of this operating.
It was about Pittsburg.
That's a nice big drag line there off.
Only it's a smaller shovel.
This is, so we went across Wyoming, and we went up into Idaho. And this is my cousin, my first cousin. His mother is my mother's sister. This is Patsy was his mom. And this is Chuck Smola, and he's a genius. And this is a lathe he has that he bought at an auction, military auction. This was an old Navy lathe. And he completely stripped it down, took it all apart, rebuilt it, got it back together. It works beautifully. And he has about 3 or 4 of these that he's completely taken apart. This guy, I'll tell you, see this little gauge down here on the left? Down there in the very bottom, that little gauge?
Yes.
He can take these things apart, fix them, make them work right, and put them back together. He has, in his workshop, a table that is accurate within 1/1,000,000th of an inch, and he knows how to use it. He made these to get him through college. This is number 18, one of the ones he never sold. He made a number of flintlocks. He made rifles. He made handguns, and he machined all this stuff himself.
Is that his name on there?
That's it, Smola. And that's number 18. How did you see the 18 on it? Oh, there it is, the 18 on the left. That's number 18 there.
So he made this from ground up? I mean,
Yes, sir.
the bare metal, the
Everything.
wood?
Did it all.
Mm.
Not just this one. He made, I'd say he made, I didn't know how many. I've seen about 8 of them.
18.
He sold them. Well, 18, I guess he sold them to get himself through college. He'd make these and sell them for,
Talented guy.
sell them to get himself through college. They'd go from $3,000 to $5,000. And this is just something he picked up somewhere. This is a set of dueling pistols. And this is the kind of dueling pistols, the kind of setup you would have seen for battles of honor when there was a duel. Hamilton and Burry's had used something very similar to this, not this set or anything exactly like it, but very much like this. A set of dueling pistols that they got when they shot at each other.
Why particular types of guns for duels?
Well, you want to make sure that both parties have the same
Exact
exact equipment, and this is what that was about.
One gets the AR-15, the other gets
This is a,
They had the choice of what they were going to use, and and so he would bring that kind of weapon. And they had a choice, no one could cheat by jamming up his gun. You never knew which one was gonna be left, so he didn't mess with them.
This says Cuddy Ray Forrest, that's my aunt, that's, my mom was Betty. Patsy was his mom, Cuddy was the other sister. There were 3 sisters and you'll hear about Bill, the oldest, coming up here. But this is the powder horn that he made for Cuddy. Cuddy's passed, so he has it now. Her horn. And there was some joke involved with that, I'm not sure exactly. And these kind of bags and stuff, he made some of them were made by other people. But these are handmade bags. This long rifle, he made that, sold it to a guy, told him some years later that he would buy it back if he could, and then some more years later the guy approached him and sold it back to him. He's only had it back a short time now.
Yeah, he's gonna give it to his daughter, because it's one of the first he did.
You make those powder horns?
Yeah, he makes the powder horns, makes the purses.
Yeah. There, he made that shirt.
This is a deer shirt that he made from a deer. He skinned the deer and prepared the deer skin. And this is the one that he's working on. This is a long rifle he's working on now. And this house he lives in, he built and is, I mean, there's not another one like it. It's an amazing little place. It's well insulated. It's a 2-story place and out in the middle. It still doesn't have running water. It's been there for 40 years, as far as I can, still doesn't have running water. Wow. He still carries water. Oh, now we're to the story of my life. This is my brother's grandson right here. This is my brother's great-grandson, my brother's great-granddaughter. She is the spitting image of her grandmother, his mother. His mother, my niece Connie. She died young. This girl was born less than a year after she died and was named after her grandma Connie. And she's the spitting image of her. I was around Connie when she was that age. And that's her.
This is why we were there. We went to different places and stuff.
Yeah, so we didn't have much of a plan, but when I got going there, well, we're going to visit family, and we stopped at all and this is in Fernley, Nevada. I don't have any pictures. We stopped after seeing Chuck. We stopped and saw Connie's son. We had dinner with him and his kids. We didn't take one picture. We were busy visiting. We parted ways, never took a picture. But this is Connie. She took a little bit to warm up to me, but she's all right. And then after we left Fernley, Nevada, we went to Sacramento, and on the way we went the southern route. I couldn't drive a truck down there, so I'd never been down to see Lake Tahoe. So we went down to the south end of South Lake Tahoe, took Highway 50 across, and this is Lake Tahoe.
Did you go swimming?
Down in Lake Tahoe. It's very cold. Very cold water.
Water ever stepped in?
It's a big lake.
See that from Saturday.
Then we went on down to Sacramento, and we went to Old Sacramento. And this is where Sacramento originally was, on the Sacramento River. And they have here the Delta King, and that's on the Sacramento. They have train collection there. They have, this was a hub, when it was originally built. The train came through there, the steamboat stopped there, everything centered on this area. There's about 2 big square blocks and a facing street, all with boardwalks. And it's really a very nice touristy area, but I really like it. It's one of my favorites. I've been there a number of times. For you foamers, here's your dose of train. They didn't have a whole lot of arcade stuff. They did have a Ferris wheel and a merry-go-round. And got taking a nap on
David, I don't associate a paddle steamboat with California. Did they take that from the Mississippi or some other part of the country to take it out to San Francisco?
I have no idea.
More research.
I don't know where, I don't know where that would hook up to the ocean or where it would hook up to a larger body of water other than it could go up and down the Sacramento, which was, at one time was.
Maybe Mark Twain took it with him.
So this is this Peruvian Crafts. This is one of the stores. And so we're overlooking at this stuff, and I walk to go across the street, and I bump into a railing and cut myself open. I don't know what I did. I was bleeding.
Not very big.
And I went in here and I said, have you got a paper towel, so I can catch all this blood? And they were real nice. We had a nice visit. And I did a video of their store. They sell all kinds of stuff from Peru. A lot of alpaca. And I have a video of the store about 6 minutes long. And they have some real nice stuff. If you'll see here, you can see the boardwalks. I didn't really think about photographing the boardwalks until I got home, but there's all boardwalks around all these buildings. So, that's the old style. They had the boardwalk, so you were walking in the dirt. There's Connie. She's on a buffalo there.
Connie, you just sort of go through a lot of sacrifices, don't you? To be.
How did you get up there?
Nice.
What was the story?
Well, this seems to be a pattern with Connie, is that when you see a buffalo,
She's got a mount.
or a cow. This is on Wall Street at the Bull on Wall Street.
Yes.
And here we are in front of the stack in Kansas City on a cow.
Frustrating.
Here she is at the Natural History Museum in Jackson, Mississippi.
There's an answer.
Right on Connie.
I know.
What is that one on the right? Is that a mechanical hand?
I might have to get off, my hurting.
Anyway, I love this collection. This is a peace officer memorial. So when you're in Sacramento, you just go down like a mile over this way and you're at the Capitol. And that's what we did. We went to the Capitol. This is the California State Capitol. And I've got to tell you, I'm disappointed with it mainly because it's not a working Capitol. In Des Moines, if you're there and they're in session, there's people walking around, there's things going on, there's business being conducted there. There's no business being conducted here. I can't imagine the governor has to go here at all. Or maybe the legislators have to go there for their House meetings. But everything was a demonstration room. Everything was set up for the tourists to see the room of the way things used to be. But there's not much of the actual work of the government that goes on at this building from what I could see. It's a beautiful old building. And then just down the street from that, a couple blocks, is Sutter's Fort. And this is famous because it was really the first outpost in California. And this is where the gold from, what was the gold rush, where was that?
Sutter's Mill.
Sutter's Mill. That gold was brought to this place here. And
He died
this
broke.
was the center of commerce in California for a long period of time.
He died totally broke.
What's that now?
Sutter died totally broke.
He was an idealist. He thought he was setting up some sort of not nirvana, a utopian society at the beginning. And it basically was a center of commerce in the Central Valley of California. And one of the first. And this just shows the different things that went on there. They were doing, all of life in the whole area around centered on this place. And there was military, and there was agricultural stuff going on here. You have a cannon there. Just old stuff. I've seen so much of this stuff, I'm not really all that impressed with it anymore. State Indian Museum there. I found one thing to be true about the Native American tourist attractions, it's almost universal, they don't allow pictures. I was in Sky City, I've been in a number of Native American spots, they just do not allow pictures.
Why is that, David? Do you have any idea?
Some sort of protectionism, you know, their culture, I don't really know it. You know, trying to save money, trying to get you to buy their photo packets and things that they have to, it's good business.
Some cultures don't like for, have their pictures taken, you know.
Yeah, I don't know that, but this is the nicest hotel we stayed in. This is the Mission de Oro, and it's in San Antonio, California. There's a place called Anderson's Split Pea Soup there. Anybody ever hear of that? It's in the central. It's in San Antonio, and it's a big restaurant and hotel, and they serve split pea soup. And they've got, I don't have a picture of it. They have a thing they use for their logo was this big fat chef with a big axe, and a little guy's down there holding a pea. And he could have split the pea. But this was a beautiful room, beautiful, and a beautiful hotel. I got this nice piece of artwork here. Now, does anybody know this original piece here that they're talking about?
By Michelangelo.
La Pieta.
It's a replica with the plastic work.
I didn't buy it here, but I had a little acrylic heart with the little golden thing sealed inside of it.
So then we went from Old Sacramento, we went down and stayed at that old Mission de Oro Hotel. And then we went to Cambrea, California. This is on the coast. This is two different pictures. This is their house. And this is my cousin Sharon. That's my Uncle Bill, my mother's oldest brother. Bill is her dad. And this place in Cambrea, beautiful little two-story house. But I wouldn't even want to guess what it's worth. These are my rich relatives.
Well, they're comfortable.
Great folks. Here we are at Ragged Point. This is my cousin Pam and my cousin Sharon, Sharon's husband Bill, and Connie. And this is Big Sur. This is my niece Connie. He's Jeni, my niece Jeni. And her husband Tilo. They're in real estate. They do real good. They're out there in Wasco, California. They came up to Cambria to have lunch with us one day.
We had a nice time.
Yeah. This is a rock out there. The rocks out there are all white from bird poop. And I've got a little 17-second video of that.
You actually filmed the birds pooping.
They didn't know. They didn't know I was filming.
Advertisement for sure. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
This is what, when you see those car commercials with the car driving along the coast,
We lived in California
that happens
for
here.
nearly 20 years.
That's an interesting picture, David, because I've never seen the sun so mal-shaped.
It takes on that, it does.
Isn't that interesting?
It takes on that kind of a look.
Yeah.
Or the bed. Yeah.
This is seals laying all over. If they come down here, you know, they don't even eat when they're down here. It seems to me the way they said it, they stay here for a long time, don't eat. Then they leave and they go north and they feed.
Well, they're here for spawning. Remember?
They don't look like they're spawning to me.
They're resting afterwards.
She said that they don't eat while they're free.
And this is Morro Bay. This is the rock at Morro Bay. And that's a different angle. Get more of it. Look at the relief of it. And this is a band playing where we ate seafood. So I ordered lunch for 4. I said, I'll get this one, Bill. We had 4 fish dinners and Pepsi, I think. $160.
No.
Sitting out on the patio.
That's your McDonald's.
Was the fish
It's not
good?
much better.
And I've got an idea.
Better be.
This guy's doing, it's Sept song. Black Magic Woman. I've got a video of them doing Black Magic Woman. And I've got a little piece of them doing another song there too. And this is the Harbor Patrol at Morro Bay. You got these little boats that go out.
And they have a Coast Guard there too, don't
Yeah, and they do rescues and stuff.
they? You talked to one of them, he said he had a call, wasn't it?
Yeah, he had a call, he had a couple calls this morning already, and he was out on one, and
This is the fireboat, isn't it? See, it says fire patrol.
Yeah, that's why. Fire.
where did it say how far?
On the-
red-
on the- that one's
red
not-
lettering under
but
the
the
number
Coast Guard is
38.
also there.
Oh, yeah, okay. This thing here, Morro Bay Seafood Company, these seafood places run on ice. And this thing here is an ice maker, that whole thing. It just pours out ice all the time. Big tubs of it. Those big tubs, they fill those tubs with ice. You know. And then alongside it are restaurants and everything all going on right next to each other. This, you know, there's commercial fish, but mainly it's commercial fishing industry, but they also rent paddle boards and do all the things they do for tourists. This is a big spool that winds up netting on a commercial fishing trawler. This is, so when we got down in Cambrea, we were going up and down the coast from Morro Bay up to Big Sur, up to San Simeon, up there by the Hearst Castle, all of that. And when we got done with that, on Monday morning, we went to Mission San Miguel. And it's in, is that Paso Robles? Or?
It's beautiful.
But these are some pictures inside the mission. Do anyone know anything about the mission system in California? Yeah.
No.
I've got that little.
We lived there. My understanding was the Russians were coming down near, well, north of San Francisco. And the Spanish monarchy decided in the 40s, somewhere along in there,
That's right.
to build these missions all up and down the coast to have a claim, and to have more of a presence. And then the Russians eventually withdrew. They came for the sea otter, which they nearly wiped out. I will tell you, can I tell one funny story about a mission?
Go for it.
My mother was with a cousin of mine, a gay cousin. He never ever went to church, never gone to church. She took him into Capistrano. And of course they have the candles and everything, and he loved things like that. So he started to go down and light all these candles. And my mother, who had a very droll sense of humor, looked at him and she said, you know, they want $1 for each one of them you light. And he went,
It says that that first mission was built in 1769 and the last was in 1823.
yeah, it was in that period.
So
The mission period in California really wasn't that long, but the architecture stuck.
And the treatment by Father Juanapero Serra and they treated the natives terribly, and they lorded over them. They had horses and guns, and these people had no defense against them, and they had to do it. They were basically enslaved to build these missions, and were converted to Catholicism whether they wanted it or not.
I had no idea
Just
that
like me.
it was territorial
It was
protection.
Because
I thought
California
it was just
really
to
was
convert the
about the
natives.
furthest outpost the Spanish had, as far as that region of the world. And as we lived there and we had a mission near us. But just a cost, you mentioned that one of our parishioners owned the fish house in San Diego. And also 17 shopping centers and a bank. He was he didn't have to go on the government social security at all. And you couldn't walk in the door for under $40. Nothing was that, less than that. But the house we lived in, we paid $135 20 years ago. It's now for sale for $900,000. In Escondido, this is inland.
Wow.
So everything in California is pricey.
My son rents a house or an apartment in Carlsbad, California. That's about 700 square feet. He's grandfathered in for $1,800 a month. The new people pay 22 to 25.
Insane.
But stop and think of this. California is the 11th largest economy in the world.
It's gone down, it used to be the 6th largest.
Well, it's gone, I think it has gone down, but it's others have gone up.
But it's the most productive agricultural region in the world, I would gather, from what I can tell. So we got done at the mission stand, we were headed to Santa Barbara, and the traffic got heavy, and I got off the interstate in Pittsburg. I said, I was driving in this stuff.
You didn't enjoy driving on I-5 in California with
No, this is on 101, down by the coast. But they have this sign on right by the pier there, and it lights up at night, all different colors. It changes all the time. See how it's blue and sometimes it's red. It just changes. The colors switch all back and forth. Pismo was very nice. I don't have a whole lot to show about it. It was just a nice beach town, and we swam in the water and had a wonderful time. It was really very nice. I was planning to go somewhere else. We spent 2 nights in Pittsburg just because it was nice. We got a room that was reasonable, 2 blocks from the beach, and walked around, ate at the restaurants, and swam at the beach and walked the pier. It was very nice. Very nice. And there we are, see, we got our tootsies in the water.
Mm-hmm.
This is Solvang, Danish capital of America. Solvang, there's a whole history of it. The guys, here's Hans Christian Jan Andersen. It's a whole town built in the style of Denmark. And this was the trolley. We took a tour around town. Nice looking trolley, not much of a tour. But this is the style of buildings and all. I've taken quite a few pictures. Just these are the guys that founded Solvang, and here's the story. Founded in 1911. Reverend Benedict Nordenkoff, Gregensen, Hornslide, Hornsill, Yield. So they established this Danish community, and these are the guys right there. They had a little statue. That's what I just showed you. Is that thing on the left there?
Bill, were those houses you showed in the beginning, those structures, were they original or were they kind of built afterwards? Yeah, those. Were they original structures from?
They're built this way. I don't know what year they were built, but this whole town, the whole area was, you know,
yeah, that's why I was
meant to
asking.
reproduce Denmark. I don't know why they came here. If they wanted Denmark, they could have stayed in Denmark. They decided they wanted Denmark. Solvang is off the coast up in the hills, inland from Ventura and Santa Barbara. Up in the hills there. Lake Cachuma is a nice recreational area up there. We used to go there all the time to fish. And this is some of the architecture. They have delicious food. The Danes make wonderful food. We ate pizza at Tower Pizza. It's wonderful.
That's a Danish dish.
This is called, this was here, this was one of the original architectures, and a pizza place moved in downstairs, and so the name of the pizza place is Tower Pizza. And this is some woman waiting for her man to come back from the sea.
She's famous reproduction. You got a.
You have some famous statue in Denmark.
The Little Mermaid.
That's right. That's right.
They're willing to sell you things in that town too.
What's that?
They're willing to sell you things there when you.
I bought some stuff there. I bought a set of bells. I was trying to call you for my bells. I forgot. So this is more of that architecture. A lot of real nice architecture. And the real, the main drag there has a lot of gift the mystic merchant. This, like the Peruvian store, dealt with foreign merchandise. This is a lot of stuff from Nepal. This is Buddhist stuff here. And here's your Christian there's an Archangel Michelangelo with his, or not, his, Archangel Michael with his foot on the head of Satan.
Yeah.
Getting ready to stab him.
Get that.
And there's the Solvang Fire Department. Oh, that's Town of Margaret County.
They're the wrong color.
David, is everything in the city, built in that some type of architectural style?
I don't know if it's code or not, but everything is.
It sure
Everything's
looks that
built in
way.
a Danish style. That's even the fire department there.
Yeah.
This is in Ventura. This was a fisherman's memorial there at the harbor. I used to live in Oxnard for a summer, working for a company up there. And Ventura was a sleepy nothing town. There's a huge harbor here now with hundreds and hundreds of boats. People living in this harbor. It's very, very ritzy now.
Big marina now.
This is Malibu State Park. And I never really realized, I knew that Malibu was a fancy area for rich people to live on the hills over the ocean and such. But this is wetlands. And I don't know if it's like a tidal basin or, I don't know if this fills up in the high tide or what, but it obviously gets wet quite a bit. A lot of wildlife in here, a lot of birds and such like that protected in this area. You can walk out about a half mile and you get to the beach from where you park here. We didn't do that. We just took a look at it and went on our way. Now we're down in, so when we left Malibu, it was in the afternoon, it's about 4 o'clock. We drove down through Santa Monica. I know, the traffic in Santa Monica is, as bad as it gets. I'm on my GPS. If they could have just get me on Lincoln Avenue or Lincoln Boulevard, Highway 1, I would have just stayed on it and it would have been slow, took forever, traffic jams. But no, I had my GPS on. They said turn right. 2 blocks, turn right, turn right, turn left, turn left, turn right, left, 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 right, right. Took me all through Santa Monica, through neighborhoods, residential areas. I'm sure I saved 5 minutes. I'm sure of it. And we got down to Redondo Beach, and we stayed in Torrance the first night at a little dump called the Driftwood Inn on PCH. And in the morning, I said, well, we're here, we're going to go out. This is where I was raised, this park right here. I was raised. We played football at this park. There's a rocket ship in the back there. This is Rocket Ship Park. And our story was, they call it Rocket Ship Park. And our story was, this was the first ever rocket ship in any park anywhere. It was certainly the first one we ever saw. But
It's like a monkey bar and a jail. Children.
you can crawl up through there in the middle, slide on it. But it's overlooking. This is the high school where I went to high school, South High School in Torrance, California. And this is the view from Los Arbolets Park, right down across Los Angeles Basin.
Looks like that rocket ship has taken off.
David, is that Nixon country?
No.
Well, it had back there on that sign, it said Dick Street, Richard Street.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It was referring to right there.
Well, that's Cali de Ricardo.
Well, Ricardo
And I
was
live-
famous for Richard.
That's right.
But it might be Ricky.
Well, that was named before he was even president.
Okay, good.
So this is South High School. I went to school. I played Babe Ruth on that baseball field. This is Newton Elementary School here. I had Little League practice there. And this is it. But we lived up on the hill. We were doing pretty good. Literally as high as we ever got. This is the house we lived in. This is 5620 Via del Clavo. And right behind it is the elementary school, and just over this way, 1 block is that park. This house my dad bought for $22,000 in 1957. I checked, we were talking to the girl on the beach, and I told her we were up seeing our old home. She said, well, look it up. She looked it up, 1.5 million.
Wow.
And it's just a little 3-bedroom, 2-bath, on a single lot, backed up to the school. No view. We're on the wrong side of the street. No view.
Nice tree.
1.5 million.
But it's close to the schools, walking distance,
Yeah.
and pretty much in the kids.
Location.
That's what's good for the parents, less driving, less problems.
So are wages comparable to the prices of those places?
Well, I don't know about the common working man, but at the time, my dad was at the pinnacle of his career in 1957, making $25,000 a year.
Yeah, that's a
As
lot.
industrial relations manager for Ryan Aircraft.
My
He'd
son
been in
lived,
San Diego and he'd been in the union. He got, he jumped the fence, my mom always called it. He jumped the fence. He was union president of 506 local aircraft and auto workers in San Diego.
Turncoat.
And he jumped the fence and became the industrial relations manager for Ryanair. Made good money.
my wife was a office manager for 300 people. And and my son worked in Carlsbad. She worked in La Jolla. Pricey in La Jolla. And they used to call it the sunshine tax. You want to live here? You're going to make less money than you would in LA. You're paying to live here. And so my son, who makes nearly 6 figures, barely makes it.
Well, we stayed at the Driftwood. We stayed at the Driftwood at Dump. I said, we're getting out of here. I said, well, what? I said, this place is Dump. Oh, she didn't think it was so bad.
I wasn't worried about that, I wanted to go down.
We found a nice place. We went down to Redondo Beach and found a place a couple blocks from the pier for a reasonable price. And we're standing just right, the pier's at our back. This is the Palos Verdes Peninsula down there in the south. And this is Torrance and Torrance Beach down there further. And somewhere right in there, it changes to Redondo Beach right here. This is the King Harbor in Redondo Beach.
There's a man named kind of Lee.
Jeni.
Yeah. Anyway, they.
Breakwater broke the surf, so the surf wasn't coming into the harbor. They had these whale watching tours, and I thought this is an attractive little building. Oh, yeah. This is Tony's on the pier. When we got married in 2016, we got married at Veterans Park. This is Veterans Park Library. And we ate at Tony's 3 times in 5 days. We were there eating just a great seafood. Great. It overlooks the harbor. The glass here, you can sit in the window and you're looking out over the harbor.
Seems like that's been in the movies.
It probably is.
It's been there for 65 years.
Like a Clint Eastwood movie or something, I think I remember.
Seems like it should be a pizza place.
Watched that one. He said a lot of famous movie stars have their pictures.
Oh yeah, we have them all up there, yeah.
And different people. And she said that even Bob, what was that we say about Bob? He was a terrible kidder.
Yeah, nobody that knew Bob Hope liked him.
Oh,
I knew
don't
Bob
know.
Hope, and I didn't like him.
You knew him.
And I didn't think he was funny either.
Uh-huh.
That's terrible.
I don't want to know that.
There was a girl, real pretty girl from Ukraine, came around and took our picture while we were at Tony's.
Nice picture, Connie.
Uh-huh.
You've got quite a t-shirt selection.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
They're
both
all
you
the
guys.
same.
Did you see my note? I haven't showed you. Did you see my Taylor Swift shirt?
I
David?
This is Palos Verdes Peninsula at night from Burnout Beach.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. This is Veterans Park. This is my friend Mark Melwing. I went to elementary school with this guy, and I happened to know him from Facebook, so I went ahead and contacted him. We had dinner together. It's his wife, Charlie. And Charlie has a Facebook page called See My View Productions. She just puts up all kinds of stuff. They're nice folk. And Mark was actually better friends with my brother. And I was better friends with his brother. His younger brother was my age, and my older brother was his age. And they were friends, and I was friends with Craig. Craig had passed away this last year. My brother died 25 years ago. So he knew my brother better than he knew me, but we don't.
So we got to know.
So that's in Redondo Beach. Then here we're at Williams, Arizona. We left on a Sunday morning, so I avoided traffic, and we went on up to Williams, Arizona. And one day it was like almost 400 miles. Is that right? Williams, yeah, that's right. To Williams. And at Williams, they put on a little show before you ride the train to the south rim of the Grand Canyon. And we caught the train at Williams. This is just a train. It's just a ride. It's not really all that special, I gotta tell you. There's not the scenery that you get in the Cumbres Toltec ride. This is a pretty barren ride, but they do a lot to entertain you on this here. And if you like that sort of thing, she tells jokes, and they have a singer comes in, and they rob the train, they have a bank robbery, or train robbery goes on while you're on it, and all that. This is us as we arrive at the Grand Canyon. This is the Hopi House. This was an Indian sacred home for.
Hey, going back to the picture of the cowboys there in Arizona, do they have shootouts? It looked like they.
This was a
Like they're-
performance they did, and this guy here got shot and died 2 or 3 times. He kept getting back up because they were short a guy and he had to do something.
Boy, when you're short of actors and stuff, isn't it?
That's right.
He said, I'm working here. There's just so many prep volumes for
So when you get up there, you go to we're on the south rim, there's a little community up there with a whole bunch of different touristy stuff, and the views are, you can go walk around about a half-mile area, you can walk along the thing there. A lot of the people that took the train then got right off the train and got on a bus and went for a tour, an hour-long tour around the south rim, but we didn't do that. We just went up and looked around, went to the shops and talked to people.
I remember being there and the parents were yelling at the kid, "Come on, it's time to go," because he was sitting there looking. "I want to see it longer. You can see the pictures."
This is a store, gift shop that's one of the oldest ones. This thing's been there for as long as the first time I went to the Grand Canyon.
This was built by Frank White. Is this the one?
Really? I didn't know that. Maybe. I don't remember.
Because it had to be built in such a way, they had to make sure that it was sturdy. I'm pretty sure that's the one we were at.
Well, the one, yeah, they told us that the one that, there's my Taylor Swift shirt.
Yeah.
A Swiftie.
This is back in Williams, that's out in front of the hotel. We stayed at the hotel for the place and for the railroad. They had their own hotel that was associated with the railroad. We stayed there 2 nights. We stayed there one night and went on the train the next day. We stayed there again the next night in Williams. And this is about that locomotive.
Was that used specifically for that lumber company? Because it was a coal car, it had the name of that lumber company, and I was surprised to see that on
It said it was used when
It says that one
a,
never.
right down here in that paragraph, the Saginaw Manistee Lumber Company.
So there's a lot of Route 66 stuff in Williams. This was an old antique store. I'm sorry, that's not clear, but all kinds of cars and junk. So to the meteor crater. And this is the meteor crater. That's a panel view of it.
Where is that located?
It'd be just east, it's, east of Flagstaff. Wait, is it Williams? Yeah. Williams is west of Flagstaff, then you go over Flag, you go out there a ways and you're at Meteor Crater. And the thing that I didn't know about it was that right here in the middle of the crater down at the bottom, I guess you can't make it out that well. There's buildings down there, and they dug a hole, and they thought that there were special valuable alloys in the meteor. So they were digging down to find the meteor to try and get to that precious metal. They never found it. But they think that the theory at the time was, and I don't know if it's true or not, that the meteor went entirely into the ground and is buried down there. And they came in and drilled down to try and find it, but they never did.
I was wrong about where that, it's
This,
here.
well, this actually, I read the whole thing on it, and the guy that was talking said it was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. When I read the thing, it turns out that he designed it and they rejected his design, and some other guy designed the building that's there. They rejected it because, I don't know what it was, says there what it was.
Too round.
This what? Too round.
Too round?
Is it round?
No, it's just, there's
They
something
have
about it.
geological, it had to go in there at least and forth and stir it up. So it had a lot of complications. They show pictures of his architectural, of his designs that he made of the plans, and they're all on the wall showing how he had to, build it into the, what do you call it?
Because you all know that we have two houses built by Frank Lloyd Wright in Joplin, down in the Timber, what's it called, Timber Lake or something. Down there across from Woody's Barbecue up on the north there. Is, if you go back through that neighborhood at the very back, there's a place called Timber Woods or something. It's, the name of that neighborhood is the name of that house. Tabor Woods, yeah.
There's a Frank Lloyd, two houses by Frank Lloyd, or
Yeah, two. There's that one back in the back, and then there's one in the front, they tell me. It doesn't look like much. It doesn't.
I did not know that.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah, and you can go in at Harps. You can go in at Harps, or you can go in by Woody, and find your way to the farthest north part of that neighborhood. You'll see a house that has a huge slant ceiling roof on it, and held by cables, and you would think, oh yeah.
Thanks, I want to go see that.
Joplin, not Carl Junction.
In Joplin, well, airport. It's in airport now.
There's also a Frank Lloyd Wright at the Walton Museum in Arkansas.
Crystal, yeah, that's the rebuilt
Crystal,
one.
Crystal Bridges.
Yeah, they moved that and rebuilt.
What happened there? Oh. That's at the meteor there, you can crawl up on the, Connie went up there. How was it?
He's down there.
There we are standing on the corner with Jackson Brown and Winslow, Arizona.
Such a fine
Girl,
sight
my
to see.
lord.
Flatbed Ford.
Here we go.
Oh, God, let's take us again.
You finally got off riding the back of the mountain. Took your wings to do it, huh?
True to the song about and that up. Now we're in Chama.
Been there.
This is the. So when I said I'm going to Chama, I told my cousin Sharon in Cambrea, California. I said, well, we're going to go by Chama on the way home. She said, oh, well, I have a cousin that lives in Chama. So this is Margaret and Don, and this is my cousin Sharon's cousin, and she said, we're shirt-tail cousins. And they're wonderful folk, and they are involved with the railroad, as is everybody in the town of Chama. But they actually, Don's working on, well, he's not in real good shape right now, but he's still working on rebuilding a number of the livestock trailers and different things. He talked about how they had special orders of wood, and get it treated special to make it suitable. She just, she's a fireball. She got things done. They deal with the Bureau of Land Management and the Forest Service and things there because there's all these forests around and they try and impose rules on them. And she's been all over.
She used to run the newspaper, local
She
news.
used to run the newspaper, and they tried to keep people from going up there except to hunt. Other than that, they didn't want people walking around out there. So she looked at the rules, she got it all, she told everybody, all you have to do is carry a fishing pole, you're good, you don't even need a license if you're over 60 because, you know.
They wanted, they
You
used
can go
to
wherever
run
you want.
horses and
So
rides
she has
down
a
there.
little fold-up reel she carried with her. And she's,
Was he a CB in World War II?
he was a CB, I wouldn't say World War II, I don't think he's that old. He's old enough to be World War II, but
I think he was Vietnam.
he was a CB. This is their house, and it's on this historical record. Because the guy that built it, something special about him.
He was a doctor.
He was a doctor, but he was a special architect, the guy that built this place, and it is done with double tongued roof thing and just real good.
It's insulated because it's real logs.
And this is in town there in China.
It's the coolest place you can be in, inside there.
This is just up the street from that motel you guys know about. What's the name of that,
Hard.
Cumbres?
It looks like there's one hole for something hanging down. That's
Yeah.
not bad.
I know, but you know, this roof is a metal roof, but this looks more like a galvanized metal. This is not your modern metal that we have. This was a galvanized sort of metal they used, yeah.
I think that's where the electricity comes in.
Took several years.
Through
Took
that
several
wire.
years. Yeah, there's the electric box right below it, see there? That's probably what it
Box
is.
is attached to the house.
Yeah, but there's
Oh,
also
that
that go
bolt's
in.
not attached to it.
That just looks like a vent pipe. You know?
She raises chickens, grows tomatoes. They do it, this symbol here, they like it a lot. It's got the Colorado and New Mexico flag emblems on them. It's a little hard for you.
The last one's spelled Cumbres with a P.
Yeah, I saw that.
I've got a video of the ticket office, all in there and all around. I'm gonna put this all together in a YouTube video at some point, and I'll post that. You know, I didn't bring any of my cards.
Oh,
Oh, darn, huh? You hate when I don't have cards.
yeah, I have to pack them when he up there.
483, this is at Chama. They say these numbers of these trails, oh, that's 488, with a certain reverence, you know. Yeah, all these trains have a special place in the hearts of the people there.
David, you know how many engines they have, the steam engines in there?
I saw at least 6 or 7, but I don't know, but there are some of them in various states of repair. There's your rotary snowplow. And if you look right up in there,
Yes.
you can see those, it was too close, you really couldn't get much of a look at it, even when you were there. You couldn't get a good look because it was right up against this other car. But those things dig into the snow and turn and break it up and shoot it out. But that's it, and that works. All this stuff, the number of cars they have, I know they have over 100 different cars of different kinds. And all of them have either been repaired, restored, or work, you know, or they're working on getting them working.
So those two red cars, they have a steam engine in there, but that steam engine is simply to run the grinder,
That's correct, you need a locomotive to push this unit, or you need some power unit. The power unit that's on here is simply to run the rotary blower. And, for propulsion, you need a locomotive.
like the one on the right.
Yeah, that thing there is, there was some debate whether that'd ever be rear built. Where is that? Didn't put that in there. All kinds of, these are flatbeds and.
So they have these engines there, but they also have buildings. They are actively working on these things and repairing.
This is a working rail
Yeah,
yard.
yeah, they're all, they say they have a lot of parts, they take off of what they call the boneyard, you know, whatever they might come up with. So that's why you got some old ones that just look like junkers or stuff. And he said they might need something off of them, so they hang on to them. Okay. Trying to keep them, the good ones running, they need parts.
So this is a water tower. I was told this is the only water tower, it may be the only one in existence now with two spouts on it, one on each side. And they've replaced this, it won't hold water. It's wood, you know, it's wood that's pushed together in the way that a barrel is made, where the water expands the wood and it seals. Well, they put something inside, a tank inside of there. And that's holding the water, because this doesn't hold water anymore.
Where is that?
This is in Chama. This is in Chama on the yard, up north of the depot. This is a tipple. This is the one at Chama. They, from what I gather, they mine coal around there somewhere, around in the area, and they brought it here, and this is where they loaded the trains. Then they went up to Antonito. Well, Antonito is on a much flatter area. This is in the mountains and everything's hilly. And I think they just take it up there and put it on a rail out to the different parts they go to. But this is just, the run from here to Antonito is merely to get the coal out of the mountains and into an area where they can work with it. This is an old ballast regulator. It doesn't look like it does much more than groom the rock on the side of the tracks, whereas the modern ones do everything. You know, they have the thing that scrapes the rock out of the middle and puts it outside, and it does all kinds of things. But this here just looks like it's just to groom the rock on the sides. The coal they use is high quality, low sulfur fuel coal, and they're having trouble getting it. They think they may have to convert at some point, may have to convert to coal oil and convert their locomotives to burning.
I think they have one locomotive already converted to burning oil.
Why are they having trouble getting that particular quality? So they're running out?
It's just harder to find that share of coal that doesn't have the sulfur. And I think that has to do with the air pollution itself.
So it's to meet federal standards on.
Yeah, it doesn't smell when we're riding that train, you know, with all the old coal burner stoves even around here. You could smell it in the air. That's just how I knew what season it was when it blew. That's how it smelled. But,
489.
yeah.
There's our tickets. They have all kinds, this is an amazingly complex operation. You can load the bus in Cumbres, which is what we did. We took the bus from Cumbres to Antonito and rode the train back to Cumbres, to Chama.
That's what we do.
Then, or you can wait until 10 o'clock, and we loaded at 8:30 and drove up there. It takes less than an hour to get to Antonito. But then, or you can load the train in Chama, and you can ride up to Antonito and grab a bus up there and come back. And they have it set so they're coming both ways, and they meet at a place where we have lunch. There's a big building, and there's lunch, and there's an old depot there and different things to see, but just amazing. And then they have this stop here. This is Cumbres, and if you want to ride, there's another sign I think I put on here. you can call and buy a ticket and get on the train here in the middle of the ride somewhere where they stop. There's a lot going on. It's a big operation. I wouldn't want to guess how many people work at it.
You have to call them before January 31st, 1951.
Yeah, but that's, no problem.
Well, actually, this tells you the train schedule then, but it actually, that was us getting on the bus. That's a great picture, huh? And there's Anthony. You know, this is up at the other end of the line. And this is their, there's old 495. This is out front. I don't think this one runs. It was sitting right out by the road, and just looked to me like it wasn't running. This is our
Ticket taker.
conductor. If you don't know, the conductor is the boss. The conductor runs the train. He tells the guy in the front when to go, when to stop, where to stop, where. He says you're on, you're on. He says you're off, you're off.
My dad worked for the KCS, and he said one time, he had a engineer, I can't remember his name, he was fast, and he came in to the station real fast and hit that air, and the conductor came running up around, got off the train. God damn it, he said, you came in there and you hit that air. He says, you knocked a bunch of people down. He said, the engineer said, don't worry about it, I'll stand them back up when I take off.
This is one of the descents right here. This guy tell you everything about everything. He's actually standing in the gondola there. This is an open car. I took a picture of this caboose because Margaret's brother rebuilt this.
Margaret's brother-in-law.
Well,
That's why we brought Connie.
correct story here.
Well,
One of my ambitions was to
Get the
ride a
details
car
right.
on top. Always waved at them out when we lived out on the farm, the train went by out. Oh,
That meant so much to a kid, didn't it?
oh.
Loved it.
These railroad ties are short. These are shorter than the ones we're used to. They're like, I mean, they're only, because the rails and narrow gauges.
Yeah.
And I don't have the numbers for you, but the numbers. This is Antonito. Well, 488 is what we rode down the hill.
Oh, that gondola is full.
Yeah, people like riding in there. It's not obstructed by the windows or views or anything.
now you're free to walk back and forth, stay out there, or go back inside. They say that if you have to be careful, because they are very cold, the cinders can fly up. So actually you end up with ash in your hair and stuff on you, but not real bad.
We took this picture the next day. A lot of this all the way along Coldhill. A lot of stuff.
Yeah, I did see how black it is, but it's kind of some of the photographs.
Thanks for coming, ladies. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
David, you're a great photographer. I like the angle that you use in a lot of your shots.
Uh-oh.
That was good.
I have a video about 4 minutes long of us taking on water.
I'm surprised Connie wasn't on one of those cameras.
Yeah.
Well, look around.
If I
Look
get
a little
out on the
closer.
train,
You see his dog there. This is the guy and his dog moving these cattle to an area where there were others. He was moving them. He was actually a working cowboy on a horse.
Yeah.
With a cowboy hat instead of a baseball cap.
Yeah, a real cowboy.
That is.
You got better pictures of this. I took a picture, but he couldn't put it on his because I shot it wrong. I shot it this way, something.
I would have shown it. Oh, that was a video. I couldn't use your video.
That was it. But the guy was turning like the water on and off, so they must have some way of putting the water back up into the tower.
They were saying that most of these,
Swing it over and drop it into where you need it.
this tank here is fed by a spring, and they have a pump that blows this out of it from that spring. And to load the car, they just pull that nozzle down, and then he pulls another rope that opens up, I think it opens up the air to allow it to come. Anyway, it puts out a lot of water in a hurry when it's down. This is where that timetable sign was. This is in Cumbres. There's a water tower, a standby there. And now, so we're done at the railroad. Now we're in Walsenburg. We stayed the night in Cambrea again. On Friday we took off, and we went to Walsenburg, Colorado, which is on 25. It's where you take off to go over Wolf Creek Pass. If you're going to go to Durango and over Wolf Creek Pass off 25, you go through Walsenburg and out 160 west. And we came in, and Connie had to use the bathroom, so we stopped. And there was a bus there, and there were 15 guys waiting in a single hole. So she got back in and said, that's not going to work. So we went to the Safeway across the street. Well, then when I pulled out, you had to pull left across traffic. And you've been to Walsenburg, and I've been there many times, but that road's always busy. People getting off 25 and going 160 west, or coming 160 and going. It's a little, it's just inconvenient. You can do it, but I didn't want to. So I just turned up, went through town to go to a street where I knew there was a traffic light to go in. Well, I get up there, I'm getting ready to turn right out. I went up an alley, actually. I like to look around. So I'm getting ready to turn right, and I said, oh, look. And she looks over, and here's this miner's museum, this miner statue. And she says, there's a mining museum. And I look over there, and it looks all over, the door's open, and I said, well, we got to do this. So we went to the Walsenburg Mining Museum. And we talked to this lady here. She gave us and another couple a tour. She was there with this other couple, just getting ready to start. And her name is Carolyn Newman, 92 years old. And she led us on a little tour around the museum. It was wonderful, wonderful.
Miners from here used to go work when the mines were down here in Walsenburg.
There was a big massacre there, 175 killed in wars there.
Strikes?
A hit strike, as they call it, the Cold Wars. That was a lot of it, but this was the county jail, is what this was.
Wow.
Wait.
Who was that lady? Was that?
Yeah, she is.
Mother Jones was there in Walsenburg, and here's her little story.
She got put in jail there.
She also, there was some, thugs coming in, and they were being aggressive, and a lot of the miners were kind of a little shy about engaging them. And Mother Jones stood up and she said, let's go get the sons of bitches, and they followed her.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was here or not, but my wife tells an Amazon Army story about her coming before the judge and said, who gave you, did you have a permit? Damn right I had a permit. Who gave it to you? Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson. She named off all the.
Yeah. I like this there. United Mine Workers. Do you know who this is? I was trying to figure out who it was.
FDR.
That's FDR.
Mm-hmm. I wonder why he was on that. It's Union poster. United Mine Workers of America.
A very young FDR. That FDR.
Oh, it looks like FDR.
In 1937, he looked like that.
Well, think of all the things he did for working Americans in the
Yep.
1930s with his legislation.
Save Kansas.
Yeah. What about the other confrontational woman in that area? Did you have lunch at Lauren Bobert's restaurant?
Oh, she's right.
Oh.
Lorena Bobert is from here?
Well, I don't know. She's from
She's
the
from
western part of
Rifle.
Colorado.
Rifle, Colorado.
This is southern Colorado. Rifle is on 70 up west of Denver.
Okay, well, that shows you what I know about geography.
That's all right, any time is an appropriate time to mention Lori and Bob, anytime.
But she's trying to be elected to represent northeastern Colorado now. She switched districts.
That's what we do, we choose our,
She can't get reelected back there.
we choose our constituents, we do not choose our legislators.
She also got her high school diploma.
I wanted to show you this, this was, the Walsenburg Mining Museum was in the Herfino County Jail. It was the jail. And this is, the ceiling in the jail was comprised of the rails that were used for the carts in the mines. When they closed the mine, they took the metal out, and they used that metal to create the ceiling for this jail. And this, I'm sorry the pictures are washed out, I had to take them from a movie. But over here on the left, you see that, the holes in that there? That was a shaker, that was a screen for a shaker.
And they made it to a cell door.
They made it, they used it for a cell wall.
All this.
And this is actually, I mean, this is as close to being a genuine Old West jailhouse as you'll ever come to see. It just, there were six cells in this room. They had taken the middle out of them to make the 3 cells, 1 on each side, and used them for display purposes. But it's an amazing building, actually. The jail itself, without the museum in it, is an amazing piece of history. And there's a story about Jeff Farr, that's sheriff, who was crooked as they come, and he's the one that locked up Mother Jones, and he's the one that they finally kicked him out of office for election rigging. He was, and that's hoping somebody come and get it.
There's a pair finally got them behind bars.
Finally got our comeuppance. I think that's it, folks.
Go back to that one, go back to that one, right there. What is the rounded thing behind the lady? Is that a door
That
to
is
the jail cell?
yes, she showed us this, and it'll be in the video. The jailer can step in from the other side. He can step into that area and look this way and look that way. Instead of just looking into the jail, and this is a blind spot over here, he can now step forward and look and see
So he
what's
gets
going
a
on in his
180.
corner. So he gets a full
Somebody
view
was
of
over
the
in
cell.
corner.
Oh,
Interesting.
And that's to look in here.
How often you were in there?
How often was I in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, every other weekend. It's my weekend home.
He was like Otis, he came in every time he got drunk and let himself out in the morning.
The time
I pass up a good night's sleep and 3 meals.
You'll have to wait for the video to see the rest of it. I'm gonna put a bunch of stuff on video, all those things I told you, I've got a video of this and I got a video of that. I'm gonna put all that, look here.
And he's got a lot of videos on Easy Dave's YouTube site.
Did anybody not have my card?
No, I got one.
I have to take that.
Card?
Oh,
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
oh,
Bye.